Greetings. This is Charles Darwin. Oh. Sushi. Well, what does sushi have to do with today's story? Well, back when I was writing about the evolution of complex organs such as the eye, I was able to point to a whole series of intermediate steps from simple eyes up to complex eyes that exist now in the animal kingdom. There is a problem, however, in explaining the origin of the complex eukaryotic cell. This is a kind of cell that plants, animals, fungi, and protists are made of or consist of. The problem is that there were no examples of intermediate forms between simple prokaryotic cells, such as those of bacteria, and complex eukaryotic cells. Nor was there any way of really explaining how those stages could have occurred, how they could have evolved. And then, in the 1960s, the late and eminent biologist Lynn Margulis came up with an explanation. It was really mind-expanding. And that was that the various components of the eukaryotic cell all used to be prokaryotic cells on their own identity. There was a large bacterial cell, and then there was a smaller archaeal cell, Archaebacterium cell, which later became the nucleus. And it moved into what was to become the eukaryotic cell. Also, there were bacteria, proteobacteria, that were very good at carrying out cellular respiration. They moved into what was to become the eukaryotic cell, and they became the mitochondria of eukaryotic cells. So you had the first eukaryotic cells. In some of them, there were photosynthetic bacteria that moved into the existing eukaryotic cells and became chloroplasts. And these were the ancestors of modern plants, with the result that you would see a complex eukaryotic cell that looks like this sushi, with the cheese being the nucleus, with the fish being the mitochondria, and with the avocado being the chloroplast. So this is the origin of the eukaryotic cell. Now, it's a great idea, but what would be the evidence for this? Well, if all the components of the eukaryotic cell used to be prokaryotic cells, they would have had to have their own DNA and their own ribosomes in order to live independently. Now, while they were inside the eukaryotic cell, they would have perhaps lost some of those things. They would have lost their DNA, lost their ribosomes, but maybe they hadn't quite lost all of it. And so, if you could find that mitochondria and chloroplasts still had some of their own DNA, and especially if they still used some of their own DNA, that would be evidence that this merger, symbiosis, symbiogenesis, had occurred. And as a matter of fact, that has been found, that chloroplasts and mitochondria have and use some of their own DNA. So here's one of the most mind-expanding, important concepts of evolutionary biology of the late 20th century, and which is now fully accepted in the 21st century and confirmed by evidence. A very exciting idea. This is Charles Darwin. Tally ho, and amen.